Now we are.
Now we are.
I've been frozen like that for a half an hour. It's been the worst half an hour of my life after that button shot game jam panel. Welcome to the kickoff panel. Welcome to the welcome panel. Welcome to the welcome panel. Yeah, we're going to go with that. We just want to kick off NON3PUB 3 in an awesome way, kind of let everybody know what's going on with NON3PUB. This video is unavailable, error number 5,000. Yeah, so we just want to kick off the panel. We want to let everybody know about NON3PUB who may not know about it, what we do, how to NON3PUB even, some of the plans that we have at NON3PUB for the next year or so. So I just wanted to start that. I'll introduce myself. I'm Ben Beagle. I'm the mayor of NON3PUB, which means that I get all of the glory and have none of the work because I have a Heather and we have a Danielle. And Heather makes the events run great, and Danielle makes them look great. So, Heather, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Heather O'Neill here. I'm the managing director of NON3PUB for closing in on a year now, and also the CEO of Ninth Level Games. So one of the things that I always loved about NON3PUB and getting involved with it is like getting to playtest all these games and meeting the designers and the community and everything like that. So, of course, I came in during COVID, so we had to pivot, and that's when NON3PUB was born. It was like, how are we going to do this? So we're going to do NON3PUB, and that started in August of last year, and we've added speed pitching and all kinds of events. So I'm really happy that we're on our third one. Danielle?
Yeah, and I'm Danielle. I hitched onto that wagon. Started with God, what was it? I was brought into like Origins or something, and then that fell apart and just kept going. And I don't know if we actually gave me an official title, but I basically do like most of the graphic design work. So like the lovely panels you see, or if someone's face is getting blocked, I'm changing that because we were joking about it, that you can hide behind it right now. So yeah. Besides that, I work for GPI Manufacturing. And beyond that, I also am an admin for Board Game Broads. And I do a lot of other stuff in the gaming community.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Danielle's also on our advisory board for NON3PUB. So what we did is we kind of restructured, and people might have seen the announcement. We restructured the board, and then we added 8 advisory board members that have many different skill sets and are coming to games from a different angle. So Danielle's kind of our resident graphics person on that team. Yeah, so NON3PUB 3, we don't have it here, but I think we should talk real quick about the fact that Mac is excited for summer.
He's very excited. So one of my favorite parts about doing the graphic design is dressing up our little noodle. So for the winter, I don't know if you guys noticed, he had a cute little hat with a little ball on his head and a nice little scarf. And then today he is styling some sunglasses. So I'm sure will appear on a few other things with the sunglasses, or if you've seen him on social media. I'm looking forward to his next outfit.
Yeah, he is all over the Discord, and I think I believe I updated the Twitch icon to have the sunglasses. So
yeah, I saw it in
and
the
Discord
Twitter
icon is updated. It's all, and as we get to the fall, maybe he'll have a PSL or something. We don't know yet.
Yeah. Should have given him a sunburn or like a bro tank.
Already
a scar. Yeah,
Mac is already orange. How are you going to show a sunburn?
Maybe a floaty. How cute would that be if he's got like just a little floaty, like a ducky floaty? Oh my god,
that would be cute.
In a bathing cap? Oh, I got some ideas.
There's a lot.
And those changes were just a joke. Like, hey, it's winter. Let's put Mac in a beanie hat. And it's a thing now. Yep. So, and then it was like, well, now we got to do sunglasses or something. And so Mac's got sunglasses. And Mac's going to continue to accessorize and look awesome in any season when we have a NON3PUB.
Yeah, and then when we're in person, I mean, the poor other noodle's going to be lame.
But so there's actually so Bloodle is the original NON3PUB pool noodle from years ago when you would be at a convention and you weren't sure where the NON3PUB space was because maybe we didn't have an official presence. John Moeller would carry a blue pool noodle with him and just put it like on a PVC pipe stand and just put it on the table. So that evolved into an anthropomorphic pool noodle. And there's actually one of Daryl Lauder's friends does like puppetry. And so there is actually a Bloodle, like an actual mascot that is like bendable and posable and has posable arms and you can actually change the eyes, and yeah, they stick on. It's in my back room right now in a tote, but there is a real Bloodle. So we're going to have to come up with a real Mac.
Oh,
yes, we are going to have to do that. We have some time. So I guess that's a good segue then. We are actually going to try to do it in person NON3PUB again in 2022.
mm-hmm.
Then what are the exact dates again?
So it's going to be May 19th through 2022. It'll be the weekend before Memorial Weekend. In working with the venue space, they've been great about, helping us push stuff off. And, when we're working with them, everybody's scrambling for the same 6 weekends. And that's the one that we were able to lock down that didn't really overlap with anything else. So that's the goal. And I think it's actually going to happen. I mean, with fall conventions happening, we'll see how people feel there, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So that's in the Baltimore area and
Hunt Valley.
It's Hunt Valley, technically. So, you can travel from wherever. So just make your plans, block your weekend already. So a lot of you probably come to this from NON3PUB, so it would be fun to see you and meet you at the NON3PUB in person.
Yeah. NON3PUB has been awesome to open up what we do to people who couldn't be there necessarily in person, couldn't travel, couldn't, maybe get a table. And I think that's awesome. I think if nothing else comes out of the struggle that NON3PUB has had over the last, almost 2 years now, it's going to be that we've been able to branch out both in the group and also in offering these online things that have allowed for speed pitching and have allowed for panels and things like that, where we can get panelists who couldn't necessarily come to our show. Right. I mean, I loved that panel back in January that had Casey and Femi that Julie moderated. It was just an awesome panel. And we've got another one coming up that Ayako is going to do with some Japanese designers later this weekend. I think it's just that opportunity we have. It's just awesome to open up what is NON3PUB to people who maybe aren't Mid-Atlantic based.
Even our keynote all of our keynote members are not in America either this year or this time. So, we have that ability, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the keynote's at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So a little over 12 hours from now is our keynote.
Yeah. And, one of the things we've talked about internally is even as things open back up in person, NON3PUB online is not going away. We might not have as many per year, but we're still going to have it probably in January and possibly another time in the year when things kind of regulate back to the regular schedule. But at this point, we are planning to have it in January of 22. We'll see what happens, past that. But I think these kind of events are going to hang around. And this way, you can still experience it even when we have the in-person things back in the world.
And even if it's a scaled down version, or it's a smaller version, or it's just helping with some virtual speed pitching and things like that, we've been able to do that as well. That, who knew a year ago that was a thing that we were going to do, because it's like a year ago right now when we first start having conversations about what becomes even NON3PUB.
Exactly.
Last August.
Yeah, it's been about a year of us even considering talking about it. Yeah, exactly. So it seemed to me, I don't know if you two had noticed, but in the Discord, a lot of new people had been joining the Discord this time. So I think what we probably want to start with is like a really simple 101. So like just kind of maybe Ben or you want to go over like the vibe of it, and then we can go over like the nitty gritty of how.
Yeah, we can. The first thing we want everybody to do is we want everybody to read our code of conduct, make sure that they understand what we expect of those that are participating, and being a part of the event. We want that to be understood and open. We're not going to hide that anywhere. Once that's happened, we're going to open up the space to you, and we've got room for general chats. We've got room for we've got badges. We always have badges. It's awesome. Catherine Stipple always making her badge. She has every badge from every NON3PUB she's ever been to, and she's adding the virtual ones to the pile, and it's awesome. We have some playtesting stuff there, but the crux of what's going on is the reserved playtesting tables, and that's where the designers have reserved blocks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for about 5 hours, where those are the only blocks, the only playtesting that's going on. We've set up Earshot, which is a program that Tam has built and designed and set up, that's running our schedule, where you can go into the Earshot, you can see the entire schedule with panels, It'll link you right to Twitch. It'll link you right to information about the games. All the games that are running during a certain block are going to be listed there with descriptions and possibly rules that the designers have set out. And so we'll have spaces set up for playtesters where we'll have volunteers that'll help funnel them to those reserved tables so they can jump on tabletop events, or Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, what Roll20, whatever they're using to run through those games and give feedback. And again, we're offering raffle prizes. We do this at the live show where we get prizes that are games that are donated from publishers and other members of the community, and we raffle those off. We want to thank everybody who's come and spent time out of their weekend, when it's nice and sunny and maybe they could be doing something else. We want to thank them by offering them a raffle prize possibly for giving that feedback. And so all of those links are going to be in the playtesting space and information space. We'll have reserve block lobbies where those volunteers are helping kind of mitigate too many people at one table, nobody at another one, and spread them out so that we can get designers can help get their games into a better place.
Yeah, one of the things I was really excited about is the improvement on this earshot event. So I in the chat, you'll see the link. But basically back in August, we were just like, let's do this NON3PUB thing. We don't know what's happening. And then in January, Tam, who's another one of our board members, who's a tech genius, put together an earshot event website that just listed the events, which was great. And now it has pictures, which is awesome. And it's a little bit more interactive where there's some things where you can update the status and things like that. So if you go to that.
I was going to say, the thing I really liked about it last time we played is it would show who needed like a person at their table. Because a lot of times you kind of awkwardly bop in and it's like, hey, did you start this game? Because you only see two people in there not knowing it's a 2-player game. But now you get to like read through the descriptions, but also during the normal, like in person, you kind of just put the noodle up like, hey, looking for someone. Instead, now we have a digital noodle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we should make a little Mac that does that. Would be so
That'd
cute.
Be so cool.
But yeah, so basically, it will say, 3 of 5 players, still looking for players, or it might say, currently playing. So it's great. So you don't have to like wonder if you can pop into that channel. And the thing is, if you're ever onshore, you can always go to the reserve playtest voice channel and talk to our volunteer who will double check to make sure that if you wanted to go to table 6 is open and you can pop in there. So that's a really nice feature. And I encourage everybody to check out the list of the games, kind of plan your time frame. You can see if one's 30 minutes versus an hour and a half. Maybe you do the hour and a half first and then do some of the shorter ones after in the 5-hour block. But every one that you play test, you're going to get a chance to get a raffle ticket. So there's a raffle channel in the Discord where you can fill a form out for every single game you play, and that's more chances to win. So we encourage that. And the feedback is great for the designers too.
And you've been you've run a reserve block before, Danielle. How did it feel? And what changes? I mean, what changes would you make? What changes have we made since then that you think are good or better? As we're still play testing this online convention.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, over the past few, now that we're on our 3rd, it's been better having those moderators and just having this like new thing that Tam built, making it easier to really know what game you're jumping into. Because before it was kind of just like, oh, I saw you needed someone, I guess I'm here. But it's like they may not necessarily like the type of game I created, where now they have a better idea. So they know what they're jumping into. So if they're like a really crunchy Euro gamer, probably not going to jump into my Discord channel. So that has definitely gotten a lot better. And with like having images and access to like rule books and all that, I just feel like you're more informed now before you go into it. So you get a better idea of like, oh yeah, this theme is like totally down my alley, or like this mechanic, I'm all about it, versus before where we had brief little intros. It wasn't quite the same. So I definitely think everybody is growing online.
It was a lot of me copy and pasting.
Yeah.
and making long walls of text of here's the game and here's some keywords and things like that. And it worked, but it wasn't concise and it wasn't easy to digest. It was just a wall of text to try to figure out. And I remember we were doing that again for the January show. And it was like 2 weeks before, and Heather and Tam were like, yeah, so Tam's got this thing we might try. And it's like, mind just blown. Just like, this is so much a better way to present the same information. And
I
I
mean,
think, you know, he's refined it for this one too.
As everyone knows, I mean, I'm sure there are some people that love to read a wall of text, but most people do not want to read a wall of text. Like I immediately like just want to scroll down and be like, you know, what is it? You know, but having those pictures there, it's like, oh, this game, I can see by this picture what this is about or what the cards kind of look like or the layout of the board.
Yeah.
And it makes me gravitate towards one thing versus another based off what I like. And I think just that alone will help.
I also feel like there's less self-marketing because I know, especially with online, a lot of designers are not so good at advertising themselves. And before, it was more like someone come in and be like, so I need players. Or you'd have the one person who's a big personality like me. I'm like, oh, I have this game and it's this. And everyone's like, yeah, let's go there. Like your children.
Right.
And we don't really have that as much anymore. We have these like moderators. We point them into the places where they can read for themselves. So it's not really a competition of popularity or whoever's the loudest in the room.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will be people posting and trying to do that, of course, but this levels the playing field exactly.
It definitely does, yeah.
Where if you are a shyer person or you're just not as savvy at Discord or whatever.
Yeah, or you're a new designer that no one's heard of. I mean, we love all the versions of all the designers.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I can understand if it's your first time and you're nervous and you don't really know what the etiquette is, and then you see other people like, it's like what am I supposed to do? So it's nice to say, okay, everything's here, this is what you could do. So let's say you've already put in your stuff for this weekend and you don't have a photo. Go take a photo of your tabletop simulator and
screenshot,
because you can go in and update that spreadsheet, all designers. So put an image in there, put an image from your rule book, something like that, and maybe that will help. If you are new and you're a little nervous to try to wrangle some people. So somebody said that's literally me right now. Yeah, please do that. That's literally me right now. Yes. The only thing that's strange is the formatting of the image, but you know, we can help you with that.
Yeah, get a volunteer. We can definitely help you with that. You know, I don't have that problem about I'm just me. It works. But there are plenty of people, especially, you know, there are just people that don't have that. And so anything we can do to, you know, give some training wheels or break down a barrier or something we want to be able to do, whether it's, you know, online like this or even at the live show, you know, when we have things like the mixer that help introduce people and whatnot. So.
I think just real quick, Corinne, I'll help you out. I'll message you after this on that. But I think one of the things that's going to be really cool is you've met all these people at all these online cons this past year and a half or so. And then when you start seeing people at the conventions, it'll be like, I know you. But it's like, Danielle and I have not ever met in person, but I feel like I know you.
I know. It's so weird.
I know you,
but
I've never met you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ben, we have actually like talked and you tried to convince me. So this is a fun story, a little nugget for everybody.
Let's go.
Yeah, so you tried to convince me. I believe it was at Origins, like 2-ish
Never
years
been to
ago.
Origins, so
maybe it wasn't Origins. It was one of them, and you were just like chilling, and I had my like DMR creative group, and so I was assumed to be like a publisher, and you guys are like, we need more speed pitching publishers, and it was like, I don't actually publish games, like I pitch my games to other people, and they're like, yeah, but it's great like feedback for the designers. And I was like, oh god, no. I don't want to get their poor little hearts' hopes up, because like I've been on the other side of that, and you don't want your heart just like, oh my god, this person loved my game.
I used to do some dev work with Jason Tagmeyer at Button Shy, just helping him out with development and stuff on the back end. And when you had people, you'd get that where people would be like, you know, Jason, I've got a thing. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you feedback. That's the best I can do.
Yeah. Right. See, that was kind of it. You're just like, oh, just say you're like here to like give feedback and stuff. So we have like more tables or whatever. And I was like,
I don't remember that, but
is it
possible?
Yeah. That was a while ago.
But yeah, like it's one of these things that reminds me actually while you're mentioning that about speed pitching. Speed pitching just kind of came out of the blue. Like we were going to do it. All this came out of the fact that a bunch of us were working on Origins Online that we shall not talk about why that blew up. And Ben was trying to figure out, okay, there's nothing we can do in person for NON3PUB. And we joined forces in June of last year and put everything together. And speed pitching had been one of
Elsol's fault.
Yes, it's fate here. Speed pitching was one of the things planned to do at Origin. So it's like, we can't leave all these people hanging. We've got the publishers lined up. We've got the designers lined up. Like I had been working with them for weeks. And then it's like, it's a shame to not have it. So we were rescheduling that for August, and it's like, let's just make another con, I guess. So that's where the whole thing, it came together, and I want to say, what, 6-7 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was
You did great.
Pretty
It
quick.
was- It was pretty quick, and it worked. You know, we had some pain points, we had some learnings, we made some assumptions that turned out to be wrong, but now we're on our third try, so hopefully we're less wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll find out. We'll be told if we're wrong. I totally do that. Like, if you see something where you're like, this did not work for me, there's a help us here channel where you can message, and also you can volunteer any channel, and somebody who's a volunteer will see that in Discord. So those are things you might not have known you can do. So you can go ahead and do that, or of course message directly to Ben
Or
myself.
to NON3PUB or any of that,
Yeah.
you know, wherever you might. You know, I think we skipped over, we're doing a disservice to the welcome panel. Because we skipped over a very important thing. And that is, I know, Danielle, you have a kitty right now.
I do.
But I want to know what snacks everybody has.
Oh, I have a beer.
That counts.
Beer.
I'm rocking Starburst jelly beans.
Summer Sandy.
I have like a whole thing of watermelon, and my cat actually eats watermelon, which is why she's trying to like get on top of me, because she's trying to access this watermelon.
Nice. And what do you have, Ben?
I have the Starburst jelly beans, which are left over from Easter or something. And I have the most disappointing corn nuts, because when you buy the multi-pack, you're stuck with all the flavors.
Oh, I like the ranch. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, ranch, and I like plain, and then barbecue goes next, and then sometimes these just sit around for months.
Yeah.
The chili picante.
I'm not a fan of corn nuts, so I can't claim it.
What aren't you a fan of about corn nuts?
It's too crunchy for me.
Okay.
I like the crunch.
Yeah, I don't love that texture for whatever reason.
The ranch one is my go-to travel snack, just like in the car, because you just rip the corner and just keep pouring it in your mouth. It's great. Nice.
A serving of corn nuts is when I run out of corn nuts.
Yeah, Ben, we have to educate Catherine here. I have no idea what corn nuts are.
Corn nuts are essentially a
Where are you
toasted
from?
corn kernel snack. I got to go the right way.
There you go.
So the ingredients are corn, salt, corn oil, and flavor. But they're a toasted corn snack. So they're shaped like corn kernels, and they're crunchy, and they're super hard. So if I had brittle teeth, I probably wouldn't eat these.
Mm-mm. Yeah, definitely not. If you get like your wisdom teeth out, don't eat those anytime soon. Or crown, don't do it.
And that's not even the thing. I don't know.
They look just like a corn kernel.
Yep.
And they're very crunchy and
I can
very
hear
dry.
the crunch. Yes. But yeah, not my favorite. I'm trying to think what I see. Kellen has Oreos.
What flavor does Kellen have, though? Because I didn't.
Traditional.
Oreos are actually on sale at Acme.
Traditional
Buy one,
Oreo.
get one. So they're on sale right now, but they won't be on sale tomorrow. So
I'm more of like a chips, like a salty snack person than an Oreo person. But
Yeah, I'm salty more than sweet.
yeah, I'm definitely salty more than sweet.
dip or
too.
no dip?
I don't
Either.
really need it. I like guac, but also fun fact, like since my birthday, I hardly ever eat snacks or dessert anymore. So
You're too old for snacks?
no, because I was trying to like lose weight and get in shape. And so that's how I did it, is I stopped eating all the snacks and eating all the dessert and drinking soda. And I mean, I did not give up alcohol, I'll tell you that. That's definitely still a thing that I drink. It's a hobby out here since moving to the East Coast. Like you go to a brewery or winery, it's a freaking hobby.
It is a thing over here.
Well,
Yeah, like I mean, COVID, but we're gonna have a whole panel tonight about food getting us through COVID, I guess. But definitely ate a lot of snacks during COVID, and I definitely upped my cooking game, though, I would say. So probably like my dinner game got really good.
yeah, I did start cooking more, but that's just because there's no good food near me. I have to drive like 30 minutes for good food, and it's not worth it.
My dinner game got lazy.
Yeah,
It turned into sandwiches and breakfast for dinner and pizza for Fridays.
yeah.
So, what's something you're excited about for NON3PUB? We got a lot of stuff going on over the next couple of days. Is there one thing that you've seen that you're like, that's going to be cool?
You mean for NON3PUB?
Yeah, for
That's what I was
NON3PUB too.
thinking. I was like, I'm excited for Unpub because I've still never been to the in-person, but for
But let's do
NON3PUB.
Unpub first, then we'll do Unpub next. Do you have something? I mean, I just did speed pitching, so I was excited about that, but it's already done. And that's not a public event, sorry, everybody. But if you were in it, it was great. And the publishers were really happy with the designers. So congratulations to everybody who did that. I'm definitely excited about our keynote, Calvin Wong and friends, who we don't know who it's going to be yet. It's going to be a surprise. So that's tomorrow morning, which will be exciting. And people might not know that he was in Crazy Rich Asians. So minor celebrity there, I guess, or major celebrity in our world.
And he's been writing for a lot of games. Like you just turn around and Calvin's written for another game. He's written for another game. He's able to announce that he wrote for this game and he wrote content for that. And it's just awesome to see.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really exciting. So so that's going to be fun and interesting because I don't, a lot of people in gaming follow him on Twitter, and I didn't really follow him. So now I'm like learning more about him in the last month or two. So
I'm excited because his plan is to speak about narrative in games, and that's, as a writer for different games, I think it's a good space. And it's, we can talk mechanisms all day. We can talk, the back end. We can talk, Danielle's got a panel about, designing for manufacturing and some of those technicalities. Sure. But I think the narrative is something that, sometimes can get skipped in some of the things that happen at an event like this.
So it's kind of ironic that I'm excited about that because I could care less if there's narrative in a board game. I am like, don't care what the theme is at all. I just want to play the.
Aloha is nothing but narrative.
That's true. That's almost like on that storytelling side of it to me. Like a party game is a different story. Like if it's a party game, storytelling game, and then we're like, oh, we're going to be like playing it up to be silly, then that's fine. But like if I'm going to play some other sort of board game, I almost don't care what the theme is. I might be like, that's really cute. Like I love Everdell, but I really am. Like I don't know why, but I'm interested in the process of the whole thing for sure. So we shall see. But I got to remember, Ben, my husband Chris was involved with Aloha Earth, not just me.
I know. I remember years ago playing that game late at night with exchange students even.
Yes. There was a French exchange student playing, and everyone will see tomorrow night what we're talking about. And this kid just like did an amazing job. I was so proud of him. Danielle, what about you for the weekend? What were you interested in?
So I'm actually really excited for the panel I'm on, just because me and my coworker, we prepped it like for 2 hours or something on Monday. And I think even when I was like doing it, so it's going to be a role play between the two of us. I get to play the naive new like designer wanting to be publisher that's going to run my first Kickstarter with all that pep in my step. And he's going to be the manufacturer, like explaining like, okay, well, what type of card do you want? Like size, thickness, and kind of like ballparks of what things cost. And just like, hey, like sometimes as a designer, you don't really think like, I want all these cool plastic miniatures, but what does that really mean for my game? Like, what does it really add to the game? What does it add to the price? And so it'll be a nice panel for anybody, honestly, to watch. Because when we were doing the role play, I was learning and I was like, oh my God, yeah, if I had known this back when I was a newbie designer who was literally the person who's like, I'm going to run a Kickstarter after like 9 months of playtesting, and no one really knew who I was. And I was putting a game that's like a kid's game that does not belong on Kickstarter because they don't do that well. Yeah, it'll be good. I'm super duper stoked and excited to be on that one. Honestly, probably the most excited I've been to be in like a public speaking, just because I think everyone will get a lot out of it.
I love that you're role playing it and doing that. That's going to be fun.
That's awesome.
Ben, how about you?
Gamifying the panel.
Heck yeah.
I'm, speaking of manufacturing components and things like that, I was on a panel earlier to kick off the Button Shy Game Jam, and I loved what came out of so mine's going to be a long answer with multiple options because I'm cheating.
As long as you know you're cheating.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I found a broken mechanism and I'm going to abuse it. So I enjoyed what we did with Haba with the wooden bits. I think that the constraint of the 18 cards is an interesting change. And so I'm really excited for how that's going to happen. Nice. When it comes up. I think that'll be really cool. So seeing how that works out Sunday, some of the things that we've been given there, because coming out of that Haba panel, I I was giving feedback to Fugadoro and Ayako to the design that they had brought. And so here's point number 2. They've got a panel about the Japanese design scene and the hobby scene there, involving importing games to the U.S. and the Tokyo game market and things like that. That's going on later this week. I'm excited for that panel just because it's going to allow people to see a different side of things. So I think that's awesome. Cool. I'm excited for we did that back in June or January. Wow. That was
January. I know.
We did it in January. We had Casey and Femi come on and talk about what was going on in Nigeria. Like, I'd mentioned that a little earlier. I think, Femi is running a panel later this weekend as well.
And is on Feedback Frenzy.
And he's on Feedback Frenzy. So, and I'm always looking forward to Feedback Frenzy. I'm always looking forward to Feedback Frenzy because, speaking about speed pitching, this is like gamifying speed pitching.
Yeah.
And taking it up to that level.
Like Shark Tank.
Yeah, well, it's a non-infringing Shark Tank-like event.
Guppy Tank.
It is a non-infringing Shark Tank-like event. Patent pending. So yeah, Feedback Frenzy I think is always an entertaining thing because the publishers can be a little more. They might be a little more loose with the feedback that they give or the comments they give. Designers might show off a little bit as well. They might, have a little more pizzazz than they might for a normal speed pitch.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Jay Bell pulls off this time, among other things. I'm looking to see what kind of feedback we get from some of the publishers. So I'm looking forward to everything because it all makes for the show, the panels, the play testing. Even afterwards when I'm having people pick out games from a list, so then I can go to the post office and send them to them.
Yeah, I know that I got to be on the first one. And for anybody who hasn't done it, be more prepared than I was because I was just like, oh, I'm going to use my camera and point towards my game, where other people were smarter and put together PowerPoint presentations or stream like their tabletop simulator. And it just looked way better than what I tried to do because I thought like, oh, I can just move this and tilt the screen. Don't do that. It doesn't make for a great pitch. Yeah.
But you learned something, right? And it was entertaining for the other designers. So.
Oh, yeah. It was hysterical. Like, I wouldn't recommend, and that's why I'm telling you right now, don't do that.
I'm trying to think, Ben, what year I did it. I think it would have been 2018. At the in-person one, I was one of the judges.
Yeah, you were a judge.
19 or 19.
In 2019.
I can't remember.
9.
Okay. So, and they did it in person, and that was kind of fun because they would have, a lot of people would have the games set up on a center table. Yeah. And it would be interesting. Like, how much are they looking at the judges versus looking at the game? How much are they picking the pieces up and bringing them over to people? So it's a different thing watching it online. And we actually have the luxury of having like PowerPoints and screenshots. Mm-hmm. So it's actually pretty cool. I definitely like it in this style because we can cycle through people and just pop them in and out on here.
That was the one where Jay Treat and Brenda came out in like a ball gown and did a whole dance as part of the pitch, right?
It's a ballroom dancing theme game, and they came out and did a dance, and it was great
while playing the game.
Yeah,
that sounds so much more fun.
Yeah,
it was so excited.
It's different. It's different because you've got a live audience. You're crammed into a room. You're sitting behind a screen, setting up as much of your game as possible. Then they bring the table out and they time you hardcore.
It's probably potentially more nerve-wracking because even though technically more people are probably watching it online, in person there's like 100 people watching you, and you're like, "Hi," so it's cool.
I thought that the speed pitching online has been working out way better than in person. And I'm not saying with just like NON3PUB, but just in general from all the different conventions I've done, because I've done it on both sides, and I actually prefer it online. Because the timing is a lot better because you have someone like jumping in going like, oh, you have a minute left or you have 5 minutes left. Like, we're going to push you versus the in-person where you just like are awkwardly waiting at your table, hoping that the publisher comes, but they kind of like look real quick and then they skip you and then you feel really sad.
Yeah.
Or they just like spend a whole hour talking to one person, never make it to your table. It's just like less structured.
Yeah. Like I've heard from both sides, the publishers too. I mean, also the fact that at on or in person ones, they're exhausted. They've been on the floor all day. Then they have this for 2 or 3 hours, and they're just like zonked. So right,
Yeah.
they skip stuff. They find a gem, so they sit there and talk to them, and it's just like it doesn't run as smoothly as it does online. So I really like that, and that's why I said I will continue to do that.
Those are all things that we can bring into the live show. Speaking of the live show, we've got a new special guest
to come in, but as long as you're okay with that space there, Danielle, we can see you.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
But also, way to top my cat. My cat was so much less cute.
Hey guys.
Shrimps.
Shrimps is here.
Oh my god.
Shrimps has been on an adventure lately.
I hope Shrimp gets really big, and then it'll be really funny to call him Shrimps.
Oh my god.
So this is, he's 10 weeks old and he's in heart failure. So this is him being rowdy, actually. Like, this is,
oh my god.
Yeah. He's being so spicy right now.
Is it the?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Can we change the panel name to Shrimps?
Yeah.
I don't care about it being welcome to this convention.
Shrimps.
Welcome Shrimps. It's now Welcome Shrimps, and
So,
only Shrimps matters.
So Shrimps, can you introduce yourself?
Do you want to say anything?
What snacks does Shrimps like? Shrimps?
Oh my gosh. Shrimps loves ham. And he really wants to eat pepperoni off of pizza, but I won't let him because I feel like that's too much for his little stomach. He likes string cheese. And he likes tuna. You like tuna?
Wow, that cat gets like spoiled. I give my cats watermelon. That's it. That's the only human food.
He's probably gonna die sometime soon. Not to bring everybody down, but like I'm like, you can have whatever you want because his heart is too big. And so yeah.
So Rachel or Tuesday on here, you foster a lot of kittens, right? This is your passion, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shrimps is one of them.
He is.
God. He's so cute.
So Tuesday, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, sorry. That's
no
I'm just introducing a cat. Yeah, I am Tuesday Bedell. I am on the board for NON3PUBs. NON3PUBs also. I'm in St. Louis right now. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say. I just have this cute cat who's probably gonna fall asleep soon.
Are you excited about anything for any of the panels or the things for NON3PUB? That's what we were just talking about. Like,
I'm excited about food after hours tonight.
Yeah,
soon.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I like that. And then I always like Feedback Frenzy.
Yeah. Oh my, plug my computer in.
And I'm excited for the positive attitude of 2021. Yeah.
Yeah,
this is going to be interesting.
It's going to be killer.
We're going to commiserate, but in a happy way, as opposed we're just, and then instead of a sad, bummed way, which is how it's been the last two. So that should be exciting. And we've brought back 2 of the same people who've done the F 2020, and then 2 new people. So it should be fun. It'll be fun.
It'll be a interesting time. Again, we want to look forward to the future and see what's on the horizon as new as in-person stuff starts to happen again. I had a game day this weekend. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
It was 3 people, but it was the first game day that I've had in
hell yeah.
Yeah, that long.
I haven't had a game day recently other than with people in my pod and groups that we've been seeing, but our local Game Makers Guild monthly in-person meeting actually happened yesterday, for the first time since March of last year. So what's happening?
I bet that was weird and fun at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't go, but I'm sure whoever did go, it sounded great.
Yeah.
So,
we had a meeting. I didn't go, but I'm sure others did.
It happened.
Excited about a meeting? Yeah, now we do. We're excited about meeting in person about anything. So yeah, I'm actually really stoked about the conventions. Oh, we forgot we were going to say what's our favorite thing we're looking forward to for NON3PUB.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So my thing I was going to say, aside from, of course, the in-person in May, which will be so exciting to see everybody, but we're doing events at Origins, BGG Con, and probably PAX Unplugged. So that's also exciting. So I'm happy to be going to those cons.
And more details about those will come out in the next months as we get closer to the events. Kind of get a feel for what we're looking at capacity-wise, rules wise, restrictions, and all that stuff. So, because
Yeah.
BGG just announced that they are a go this week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know Origins was going to give another update. I'm sure Gen Con will as well as it gets closer. But I mean, I know there's a mask mandate and there's like social distancing, and it's a lower attendance. But you know, I'm assuming BGG and PAX Unplugged will be doing the same thing. So you know, we're just going to keep watching that for our in-person thing. But I'm excited to actually play games and see people in person.
Yeah, we'll have badges for our events for the next show next May. But it's going to be the fall before those go on sale again, so we can see what things are looking like. We know what kind of capacity we're going to have. A lot of badge holders have just pushed forward now for 2 years. They've been really patient, and that's awesome, and thank you for that. So, you know, there'll be a lot more communication. I know this last year was kind of dead on communication for that. It was really in a holding pattern, but we're going to fix that, I promise.
Yeah.
Pinky swear.
Pinky swear, yeah. What I was going to say, and you couldn't guess this, maybe some other people on this panel are the same way, but even though I'm pretty social online, I love seeing people in person and like having experiences in person. So I've been like dying for that.
Yeah.
I am not as interested in just sitting online all the time. Not for me.
I agree. Same.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to being in a hotel in Baltimore that has, in suburban Baltimore, that has horses everywhere.
Yeah.
At like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
When people are just starting to wake up, and I'm just hanging out, and somebody comes and yells at me for being up already and telling me I should take a break. But that's how I recharge. It's just by being near the thing. So just find a fat chair, sit down, grab a drink, and just watch people start their day.
Mm-hmm.
I love that more than anything else.
Yeah.
I want to see the J Squad shut down the hall at 4 o'clock every night and clean up everybody's trash because they're too lazy to throw away all their own belongings. I want to go on a road trip to get a whole bunch of snacks. I want badges to show up a day late because of a snowstorm. I want, to raffle off
stuff to go wrong so that we can scramble and fix it.
But I want the weird stuff that you can tell the story about later. Yeah. I want to raffle off 12 different jars of raw honey as part of the charity raffle. Yeah. Those are the things I want to do. I want to be a part of that. I want everybody here to be a part of that in some way. I need to be back in the people.
Yeah, I thrive off that as well. And I mean, personally, I'm in a tennis league and I see people that, are in my other hobbies, but it's not quite the same as the game conventions. And I actually do better design when I'm in person with people too.
Oh, for sure.
Sitting in front of a spreadsheet, even though I like that sometimes once I've had the idea, it doesn't help me for the playtesting. Like I need to be physically with people. So I'm looking forward to that, to maybe like spark some more designs that I've been thinking about and working on here and there. So exciting. So yay. But yeah, I think like that'll be really fun. Any other unpub stuff that's coming up that people might not know about? We're going to start potentially in July, might be August, a monthly stream on this channel of content, mostly curated by Suzanne from Cardboard Edison, of like kind of 101 content for designers. And that will grow as we go through all the topics, so that, if you are new, throughout the year, you can look at our newsletter, see that this is coming out and be like, oh, that's a helpful thing I need to look at, like how to pitch, or as Danielle said, how not to kickstart after 9 months and not knowing what you're doing, reading contract, all this,
Yeah.
I read the books. I was on the Facebook things, but yeah, no, I didn't. I shouldn't have done that. Also, you need to take at least that time to do the marketing and actually have people know who you are.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing. Yeah.
We'll start using Facebook more as well. It's been a big drought, and it's something that we need to. It's a good way to get information out to a lot of people. So we're still working through some of those things. We're working through a website redesign and kind of relaunch, just to make information easier, make things easier to access, easier to understand, easier to know about. And it's all just a process that takes time, because we're all doing other things as well, unfortunately or fortunately. And so there's a lot of those little things that are gonna take over the next year or so. They're going to make it easier for everybody else and make it, a better process. We'll see online stuff continue. We'll see online speed pitching probably in different ways. What are you looking forward to about in person? I think we skipped both Tuesday and Danielle on that.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Yeah.
Well, I know for me, I still have never actually been to it in person, even though I am on the advisory board. So it'll be very exciting to check it out because I've heard so many amazing things from just like designers I've met through the years. And it sounds like it's similar-ish to like, I've been to Protospiels, but it feels like it has its own energy in comparison. And so I'm excited to like feel that energy, and hopefully it'll like help my design because I definitely miss having people around me. And I'm sad that I don't have any design groups like too relatively close. I think the closest I have that's like about to start up in person is like an 1.5-hour drive. And then there's another one that's like 2 hours. And there's another one that's like 2.5. And like,
that's a
how
lot.
far are you from GMG New Haven or GMG Boston?
Boston's 1.5 hours. That's the one. Yeah.
And what about New Haven? It's probably the same then.
Probably
1.5 to 2 hours.
Yeah. And then there's the one in New York, and that's like 2.5 hours. So it's like, yeah, okay, I will like try to come after work. But it's like, I really can't commit to doing that drive all the time.
No.
Yeah. So that's like one thing that'll be interesting for me because I'm so used to the Chicagoland area, which is where I moved from. And I was in like 4 or 5 different groups. I mean, I ran one of them. And so it was like every week I was going to at least like 2 different in-person play tests. So it'll be an interesting challenge.
Maybe start one. Okay.
You could.
Find all the designers. Oh, I already forced my coworkers to like play test the games I make. So I mean, it's pretty conveniently located.
You like games? Play this one.
Right.
They're too nice to me, honestly. They really shouldn't let me push them around as much as I do.
Tuesday, how about you for seeing things in person again?
I think for me, if I had to pick like my number one thing, it's like that moment when you're playing somebody else's game and they like light up while they're explaining it to you, because we can't have that moment when it's just audio. When I like sit down at their table online, there's no like they're explaining it and then they notice that I'm actually like into it and like having a nice time, and then they get more excited and then I get more excited. That doesn't happen over Discord really. And so like that like sharing energy in real life. I'm super excited for that.
Especially when something might be in an earlier stage, it's still kind of proof of concept. You can't really do that. You can be like, hey, let me show you this thing. Is it a thing or is it useless? I've got a dumb idea I came up with on the drive here.
Exactly.
You want to help me see if it works?
Yeah, you can't do that like on Tabletop Simulator, really.
You also can't do that with your normal friends because your normal friends are like, could you stop doing this to us? Where designers like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get my note cards out. Like we're going to just do this for an hour.
Yeah, that's true. If you're with all designers, they'll just go for that. Yeah, that's true. That's exciting. I definitely have been in a few play tests, not necessarily at NON3PUB, but just throughout the last year and a half where like barely anyone's talking and everyone's just doing their moves.
Yeah.
And like, this is like, I'm just playing a video game with people that aren't even on my Discord.
You should have invited me. I do jokes on jokes on jokes constantly because I can't handle the empty silence.
No, I was the one talking the most because also it was very weird, but it was like a 6-player game.
You might even like get into the feedback and then everybody's like, oh my God, I had so much fun. This is a great game. And it's like,
that happens.
I had no idea that you were having fun because everyone was just silent the
and
whole
like I was drinking the whole time. I was so scared you hated my game.
You can't feel the energy. You don't see the expression.
Exactly.
So even if they're quiet, but you're in person, you could be like, they're into this. I can tell you're more confident about it.
I'm spending 5 minutes considering my turn. Am I sitting there like, oh, I hate this? Or am I like,
like this is great. Yeah. It's hard to tell.
Hulda, my problem's actually completely different than I promise. It's less complicated. Mine is more, I think this is actually a thing now. Mine is, I'm all about the dumb idea, not necessarily getting to the point of even making it proof of concept. But I'm like, I promise this is a thing finally.
Yeah.
So I'm actually the completely other way from you.
I'm pretty sure we played a game that potentially Ben came up with, or it might have been somebody else. But we played a game where everyone took a Halloween M&M pack, and then we played like a bluffing game with what color M&M.
That is scrumptiddlyumptious. It is a button shy postcard game from the first year of Board Game of the Month, back when I was helping develop those postcard games. It's actually, I described it as Go Fish with Candy.
Yeah.
And the reason, when we were playtesting it is actually, it's a bluffing game. But when we were actually playing it, we could play draft, where I'd bring a big bag of, like a pounder bag of M&Ms, and be like, okay, this is a draft, you pick what you want. Or we'd have fun size bags and be like, this is booster packs instead.
Yeah, we're playing Magic.
so we were playing, it's like you had booster packs instead of drafting, because the rules said you could draft or give people a random amount. And so it just worked well for not having your grubby mitts all over the M&Ms.
Yeah, I think that would have to be the way now, post-COVID. But like, that's the kind of stuff that happens at any con, not just here, but like, that's the part of the stuff I miss. That's like the silly stuff, but something actually came out of it. It's fun. So yeah, I'm definitely up for that kind of vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so weird though, because I'm such a hugger. Like, I'm gonna want to hug you guys, and I'm gonna be like, oh wait, can I not? Can I? Elbow?
I think we just need like wristbands.
Yeah, or like
my
flags that
brother's
say like
having a
cool
wedding, and
touching.
you're just gonna have wristbands that say like, "Are you hugging or are you not?" And I think that's brilliant.
I like that idea. Like something
That's
you can put on your badge, like one of those like little barrels.
Like, are you cool with people touching you?
I went to the game day I was at on Saturday. One of the first things the host asked is, "Can I give you a hug?" I said yes, and he gave me a hug while his wife took a photo, and then he gave me a button that said Doug Hug Tour 2021.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's really
Can I get one of those made?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like Helen said, lanyard colors. Like yellow is okay.
Red and
yellow
blue.
You ask, red is no, green is whatever.
Okay, the only problem I have is like, I will say yes if I know you, but I'm afraid that I will have a thing that says, yes, I'm down to hug, and a bunch of random people are going to start trying to hug me, and I'll be like, no.
That's where like yellow and orange.
You're a yellow then. Yeah. Because there are
Or an
people who would wear
I'm an
a green
Asperger's.
that means like literally everyone can hug them. They want infinite hugs from strangers.
And even I would probably be a light green.
Yeah.
I'd be somewhere in between the two.
So would
but
shrimps. Shrimps is a green.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, back at Gamma 2020, like right when this was all happening, we were seeing people at a con like you usually would, and we kind of heard there was a thing going on in Seattle, San Francisco, whatever. And like a few people would hug, and then by like Tuesday, Wednesday, we'd be like, hey. And then by the end, it was like, hey. And then they shut everything down. So it was a very weird experience to go from we all saw each other on the first day hugging and acting like you normally would, to the end being like, see ya.
PAX East had a little bit of that too. That's when it started to kind of become more in line that last weekend of February. And so you watched the hugging kind of die down, and a lot more fist bumps, a lot more elbows as the weekend went on.
Yeah. It's funny because I used to not really be a hugger, but like I super became one like later on in life. Like in high school and stuff, I was like, like not that kind of.
That was me too. College like screwed me over, made me a super touchy person that just needed to be around people, needed hugs. And I'm just like, oh God, COVID, why?
I know.
It's like my worst nightmare come true.
I'm a hug and lift.
Oh, I do the bear hug where you get like a good solid squeeze.
I'm a hug and lift. That's just,
you can pop my back. It's cool.
Nice.
That's a different lanyard color.
This is a cuddler.
I'll wear that one when you come around.
Yeah, shrimps is a hug and nap.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll wear that lanyard.
Okay, now yeah.
So,
Nice.
we're coming up on the end here, and like Heather mentioned, we've got a bunch of things kind of in the works. We plan to be at Origins at the end of September. We plan to be at BGG Con in November. We got Unplugged is middle of December. We're looking at another NON3PUB January, maybe February, depending on how schedules and everything work out. And then Unplugged 2022 is May 19th through 2022.
Yep.
So it's a little less than a year away, and more information about all of these will be coming out as we get closer to the events and see how things work.
Yeah.
But we hope everybody has a great NON3PUB 3. In January, we hope that it was the secondest NON3PUB ever. I'm hoping, and I think we're all hoping, that this is the best NON3PUB that takes place from June 10th through June 12th ever.
Yeah.
High bar.
So it's a pretty high bar, but we're hoping that it works out. So if we just want to, spend a few minutes here, letting everybody know where they can find us and who we are again, we can go from there.
Sure. Just real quick. So Heather O'Neill again. You can find me, of course, on NON3PUB or at NON3PUB, but also at 9th Level Games on the Twitters and the Facebooks. And also my personal is at Cat Physicist on Twitter if you want to just hit me up about design stuff or questions.
I'm Ben Beagle. I'm the mayor of NON3PUB. I'm still known of consequence. I'm just a fat guy in a pink shirt. You can find me online for the most part. NON3PUB Twitter, NON3PUB Twitter. But I'm some fat kid on Twitter. SUM fat kid. Love that name. Love when other people have to say it out loud. If worse comes to worse, you can always try getting a hold of me at 1-800-BEN.
1-800-BEN.
It doesn't actually work.
I was gonna say
enough numbers. Wait a sec. It's BE.
It's part of the spiel. You have to say the whole thing.
Yeah,
that's okay.
To steal something from Bruce Vogue, it's like A Tribe Called Quest. You have to say the whole thing.
Okay.
Goodness. Well, I'm Danielle Reynolds, and you can find me on Facebook at DMR Creative Group, as well as like www.DMR Creative Group, Twitter, Creative DMR, and then on Instagram, find me as Token Gamer, and that's GAYMER, which is perfect for this month because it's Pride. So yay!
Pride, everybody.
Nerdy and Pride.
Tuesday Bedell. I'm at Americano Online on all the onlines. And if you want to see more shrimps, he is also on all of my onlines for now. He's a lot, but he's great.
What's your cat network website? Your cat network? I should put that link up.
It's I think it's just catnetwork.org. I will put it in the Twitch comments in a minute.
Great.
That's awesome. And on the back end, we have to thank Burger again for helping make us all look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I want everyone to have a really fun NON3PUB, and we're excited for the weekend.
Yeah,
absolutely. Everybody be safe.
Panels.
I don't have another panel till Sunday.
Mine's tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
We'll
Thanks,
see you all
everyone.
soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Have fun.
Bye.